Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 1370, written by VistaVizion. The startling night John Cleese broke the fourth wall. Many decades ago, I was up late watching TV after midnight when a coffee commercial featuring John Cleese came on. Much to my shock, in the middle of the commercial, Cleese leaned forward and screamed or shrieked at the camera. Then he went back to the commercial without acknowledging the scream. It made my heart skip a beat, but then I thought, oh, it's the wacky guy from Monty Python, and it'd be just like him to be in a commercial where he does something like this to freak people out. A week or so later, I saw the same commercial again. I remembered it from before and waited for the scream, but he didn't scream this time. This unnerved me a bit. But then I thought maybe they made two versions of the same commercial just to mess with people. I never saw the Scream version ever again. Not entirely unexplainable, since I suppose I must have hallucinated it or fallen asleep for 2 seconds or something, but I wasn't remotely tired and never had any kind of similar experience. I didn't think of it again for decades. Then one day, a few years ago, it popped into my head and I wondered if I could find the commercials on YouTube. I did a very quick search for John Cleese coffee commercial, and it was the first result, and just as I remembered it, 1986 Maxwell House coffee, but there was only the normal version of the commercial, no screaming. Case notes for file 1370. The startling night John Cleese broke the fourth wall. So my guess is the commercial was produced, as you suggest, with him breaking the fourth wall deliberately, but it was never meant to air. What you saw was an accident. Or maybe it was just a gag reel, like it wasn't meant to air. This is just some joke that John Cleese did for the crew in the filming of the commercial. But maybe somehow it was accidentally aired as the real thing. I don't know, because you'd need to edit it and everything, so I don't know, maybe not. It is conceivable that it is from a different universe though. So it was meant to air, but in that universe where the commercial agency had a better sense of humor, I guess? Because this does sound pretty funny. I wish I could see it too. Case file number 1371, written by Sazo3. The Range Rover that drove out of existence. Once, my boyfriend and I were driving to his house. It was probably at least 10 p.m. and the road we drove was basically a road between masses of fields and a few scattered houses. It was wet that night, but was no longer raining. He was driving, and I was just sitting idly talking, watching the completely straight road ahead, when out of the corner of my eye, I saw something leaving the driveway of a house. I turned to look. I can still remember red taillights, silver alloy wheels, black Range Rover. It was reversing out of the drive. I was so sure it was there that I leaned forward and pointed out the windscreen on his side and said, "B, watch out, the Range Rover." He looked at me as if I was insane, and I met his glance for a second and looked back. There was no car and absolutely nothing in front of my pointed finger. "But I saw it like there was a car," I insisted. "I know you saw something, but there's nothing there." Glitch? I think so. Case notes for file 1371. The Range Rover that drove out of existence. I can envision a lot of car accidents are actually caused by this kind of multiverse shimmer, let's call it. Seeing things that are there somewhere else, but not truly here, causing overreactions and other driving errors. But that only you saw it. It's more than just a space-time portal then, as previously thought, that can cause these multiverse sighting events. Maybe only some minds can interface with these portals, with these anomalies. And others don't perceive it at all. I think that would make more sense, because of the frequency I believe these portals exist in. If everyone could see them, then I think there'd be a lot more accidents going on every single day, caused by them. Case file number 1372, written by Danismeeell. My mother's mysterious intuition, Thwarts danger. I was a passenger in my mom's car, and we were waiting at some traffic lights at a T-junction. The lights stop you a little further back from the edge of the road, so you cannot see the traffic around the corner. There's also big hedges that line the path, so it's a completely blind corner, very dangerous. The lights turn green, and my mom doesn't move for a few seconds, leaving the brake on. I ask her if she knows the lights are green. She says yes. A few more seconds pass. I asked her why she isn't going then. The car behind beeps at us to go. She still doesn't move. I ask her if everything is okay when a car suddenly zooms across the road in front of us, obviously going through a red light. I have no idea how fast the car had been going exactly, but I knew it would have done serious damage had it hit us, especially to my mom, as it would have hit her side head on had she gone when the lights changed. The thing is, there was absolutely no indication that the car was coming. Where I live, people don't run red lights, especially on that sort of junction. It just doesn't happen. I was baffled. I asked my mom how she knew the car was going to run the red light. She said she didn't. She had no idea. She just had this instinct that told her to wait. To this day, she can't explain it. She just somehow knew at the moment to wait. Case answer file 1372. My mother's mysterious intuition. Thwarts danger. Yep, there you have it again, the universal spidey sense. Most have it, few embrace it. Kudos to your mom, Riti. She listened to her spidey power and saved herself and maybe you too. And serious shame on whoever it was that ran the red light like that, especially around a blind corner. I mean, that's someone who has no regard for other human life at all and none for themselves either. Or they're just completely foolish or drunk. That's always a possibility too. Very shameful. Bonus file written by Bread 0987654321. The Do-It-Yourself Ouija Experiment. I visited my best friend Peter in Los Angeles in the early 90s. He had a roommate named Tim. My first night there, we started talking about Ouija boards, and I said, I wonder if we could make one. Peter had a cardboard shirt box from a gift I'd sent him, so I made a board complete with numbers, letters, and yes and no, goodbye, and so on. I also made a planchette out of leftover cardboard, and the board worked. Tim was super drunk and thought Peter and I were moving the planchette, so I asked how I could convince him we weren't. He told me to go in the bathroom and write down a word. Then they'd ask the board what the word was. Okay, cool. I closed the bathroom door and wrote up cup on a small piece of paper, put it in my pocket and went back out. Tim and Peter did the board and asked what the word was, and it spelled out cup. Then I showed the word. I was having a legit panic attack at that point. Peter and I freaked out while Tim screamed we'd planned the whole thing, but it was his idea. We burned the board and I've never messed with one again. Case notes of the bonus file. The Do-It-Yourself Ouija Experiment. I understand burning the board, after absolute confirmation that spirits exist with this test. If you're not in the know like we are, then that'd be indescribable. That said, really, most spirits aren't evil, out to get you. I bet whatever spirit was there was just lonely. There's a kind of sad irony in that, isn't it? I mean, most spirits are just like most humans. We're just lonely, wanting that divine spark of human connection that'll endure. It's not always easy to find, but it is easier to find as a mortal than as a spirit. So there's that silver lining. Now time for the quote of the day. In the end, you'll know which people really love you. They're the ones who see you for who you are, and no matter what, always find a way to be at your side. Randy K. Milholland. They stick with you through thick and thin, no matter what. And I think this is an important life lesson to learn, is who you choose to be friends with matters almost as much as what you decide to do with your own life, because your friends are going to influence you. They're going to help you, they're going to need help as well. And if you're with someone that is more parasitical, never gives, only takes, they're energy vampires, that's going to be a negative detriment to your life in general. So be sure to surround yourself with good people. And don't feel bad if you simply don't vibe with some person. We choose who we are close to, and that is so critical to our future. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.